Today we're joined by a man who is whose his life is not merely a resume, uh, but it's a testimony of what perseverance, discipline, and service can create in a human being. Born into hardship, refined through loss, strengthened through purpose, this gentleman rose from rural Alabama to University of North Alabama, where he became an all-conference athlete, a Hall of Famer, and an NFL professional. Yet even those honors pale beside what he chose to do after the stadium lights dimmed. For more than 2 decades, he has stood as one of Decatur's foremost pillars, a mentor, a counselor, a builder of young men and women, and a shield against the violence, drugs, and despair that swallow too many of our children. He founded programs, transformed families, guided thousands, and did it with a humility that could only come from a man who understands pain and refuses to let the next generation inherit it. He's an educator, a servant, a leader, a restorer of hope, and one of the most respected voices in youth development in North Alabama. Decatur knows him, families trust him, young people follow him. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Jones.
Who are you talking about, man? I got to be honest. As I was listening, I'm like, man, you put that together well. Is that really me?
Yeah, that's you, Bruce. Yeah, you did that. Yeah, you did that. And so, I mean, it's not fake. It's not cap. It's things that you really been through. Honestly, when I see you sometime at the gym, I used to go a little heavier than I go now. I got to get myself back in there.
Okay.
But when I used to see you, I used to be like, man, Bruce ain't that old, is he? Because I'm like, I don't know if I don't want to tussle with him. I don't want to grab him. And so, man, Bruce, you done it though. You know what I mean? And we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have been blessed, Major. I really have. God's hand has been on my life, and I have to say that first and foremost. His hand has definitely been on my life, and just the struggles and where I came from, and just how he blessed me and favored me and gave me opportunities. And So I'm glad though that I took what he rehabbed and was able to help some others rehab.
Help some others. Thousands and thousands. We probably will never know exactly how many, but help some others. Yeah, you did that.
Yeah.
Here, my wife and I and everybody involved here, we try to, we want to bring some positivity.
Sure.
Sometimes we're going to do our little fun pods and this, that, and the third and relationship stuff. But we love testimonials. Not just that, we love to educate. And that's a big part of the reason that you're here today. And thank you so much for joining the show. It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I just want to go straight into it. It's just no need in procrastination.
Okay.
Bruce, if a young man came to you in today's era, entangled in drugs, violence, or confusion, what is the very first truth you would speak into him?
Wow. Well, first and foremost, I want to know what's going on with him. I want his background. I want to know what's going on in his home, what's going on in his immediate circle. I want to take the time to get to know all the circumstances possible. And then I want to somehow connect with him or her on a level where, there's some, there's a level of transparency and empathy as well. I need to connect with them where they are so that they can trust me, know that I'm sincere and I'm genuine about really caring about them and about wanting to help them. And it's not just another adult who's talking at them, but actually listening Because if you don't connect with them, Major, if they don't connect with you and know that you genuinely care, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So once I can get there, then we can work on where we need to go after that. But to me, that's first.
That's first. That was a great first. I never even thought of that as that would be a starting place.
Why would I want to pour my life out to you and I don't really know you?
Yeah.
Just because you're an adult? I mean, why? Because I done been hurt by many adults. Matter of fact, I'm probably in my circumstance because of adults. So if you don't take the time to connect and build something with them where they can trust you, and then, well, there's more after that, but that's the first.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for them to trust you, if you don't have that understanding and that connection, like you said.
Yeah.
Connection is huge.
Yeah.
This one is for the parents. What is the greatest misunderstanding parents possess concerning why their children drift towards the street in today's time?
Well, to me, it goes back to connection and a sense of belonging. Everybody wants to belong. And maybe parents in their busy schedule and their busy life and working in the families, in the community with the families and the kids as much as I have, there's so many good parents out there. When I say good, they're trying to provide for their kids. They're single parents sometime, and they're having to work sometime more than one job.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't get that. They just think that everybody's out there trying to get a handout. But these people are actually working sometime 2 and 3 jobs, but definitely 1 and 2 jobs. So that means kids are left alone a lot. And when that happens, they're going to connect with somebody, okay? Because whoever they spend the most time with, that's who's going to have most influence. So if I'm working a lot as a parent and I'm not spending that quality time poured into my child, the values, those core beliefs that I want to be instilled in my child, then they're going to get it from elsewhere. Could be TV, could be social media, definitely friends. Okay. So I'm getting these values. I'm being warped and shaped by other people and other situations, circumstances that may not be good for me, but I want to belong. I want to connect with somebody. So whomever that might be that's giving me that time, might be my gang buddy, my dope buddy. It could be, but guess what? You're pouring into me. Not necessarily positive, but you're giving me time. You're making me feel that I belong. And that's not once again, it ain't always taken away from the parents. They're doing what they have to do many times, but that's some of the outcome of that.
So you just said I'm a parent. Let's go ahead and go into a real life scenario. And I'm so sorry to go down this rabbit hole with this question. I just got to. I'm a single mother or a single father, and I got to work about 2 jobs just to provide the rent and the food
and that's where
and transportation. Maybe somebody gave me a car or something. I don't know. But you're gonna have to work about 2 jobs. And so the child is at school, daycare in the summertime. Maybe a grandmother's house outside, and it's a lot of
older sibling,
and it's a lot of time spent to self for that child.
Yes.
What the parent can't connect, bro.
Yes.
The parent can't connect. So what the parent doesn't really have a option.
Yeah.
I just had to bring that
that's
dynamic
true.
up.
And that's what we see. That's why there's a youth services, there's a Boys and Girls Club, there's some other programs where kids can be in a positive environment where they're getting positive stimulation and positive people pouring into them, because parents have to do what they have to do many times. But if I am a parent and I'm in that situation, Major, as hard as I'm working in that job to make sure that I'm providing, I got to work just as hard to make sure I'm providing that stability, that structure, that positive environment when I'm not there, so that my kids are not drifting into those negativities. They have to figure out, what can I do? And that's why many of them do sign up for a lot of the summer programs. but you got to have something in place, structured, organized, consistent, with some positive influence. If not, come on, think about it now. We become what we live. And if I'm living a certain way, I'm becoming that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That was a good way to put it. We become what we live. I've heard it another way, but yeah, we become what we live. Yeah. If I'm living something, then even if my mom didn't or my dad didn't intend for me to be this type of way, and they telling me you ain't that, but I'm living it though.
But I'm living it. When you're doing what you're doing and I'm doing my thing, that's what I'm living.
All right, so this is a perfect segue from what we're talking about. You rose out of circumstances that have defeated many children, kids, teenagers, and adults. What were the skills rather than the events that preserved you?
Well, that's a lot, and
I know.
and it was a lot of things, but I made my mistakes, and I thank God that I made them early enough to learn from them and to recover from them. Along the way, I was able to build resiliency. Now, a lot of people say you have to be resilient. Well, where does that come from? It comes from experiences that you learn and you grow from. But there has to be right people or right circumstances so that when you make those mistakes, you have support or you have something to learn from and grow from when those mistakes are made. But if not, then you'll continue to make the mistakes until they eventually get you. But I was fortunate enough to have enough people or the right sport or the right circumstance that when I made my mistake, I learned from it and I got better as a result of it. But I can tell you, man, my love for sports drove me. It drove me. When I was 15 years old, I made that mistake. I was smoking the weed. I was drinking the alcohol. I was hanging with the older crowd. I was riding in their car thinking I was cool. I was doing those things until one night I drank so much and smoked so much that I almost died, or I thought I was going to die. I remember my sister and my aunt took me to the hospital. They pumped my stomach, and I stayed in the hospital for 1 or 2 days. In that hospital, my football coach came and visited me.
I can't even.
I felt so embarrassed, man. It's like I'm exposed. He knows what I'm doing out there. Thank God for getting exposed early. Okay. So after that, I made a decision at 15. Now, this is why young people, you can do this. At 15, I made a decision. Either I'm gonna keep hanging with that older group, thinking I'm cool, or I'm gonna hang with my peer group. I started hanging with my peer group, and the athletic ability that God gave me, I utilized it for football, basketball, baseball, you name it. I played it, and then, as you said earlier, I got that scholarship to go to UNA to play football, and that began. That was it. Yeah. But I had to make that decision, man. See, that was part of that resiliency being built right then. But it started earlier, but that phase and age really, that was a big one for me.
Man, thank you for sharing that, Bruce. I didn't even know. I literally didn't even know that. Since I was a kid, you've been Bruce Jones to me. Sir. And so in my mind, I'm like, I can't even see Bruce in the car hitting the blind or having a drink or anything like that. Almost like you were born perfect. But what I'm saying is that's how kids might see you. And we say, how do we get there? And that was great for you to open up about that story because I never even knew that.
The kids know that story, Major. I tell them that story. That's how I connect with them. They can't tell me anything about what they've been through or going through that I haven't been through.
You already lived, yeah.
So when I can tell them, hey, man, I was able to come through this. You can too. Because I've lived it.
Did you like, as far as the rest of your teens and up to your, you started a career straight from your teens. So were you able to leave that behind you? I mean, because that was a horrible experience.
Definitely the weed, because the weed made me paranoid. So at 15, I was done with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, because everybody else talked about how mellow it made them, how whatever. I was like, no, it made me paranoid. I'm thinking the police finna come and get me. I'm thinking I'm finna die. I'm like, well, why am I doing this? So that was easy to let go. Every now and then I might have drank the beer or something growing up doing that, but no, it was that was it. No more of that.
Man, that was a testimony right there, bro. I mean, my goodness, I didn't even know that. I got to move forward because I got several more questions.
Okay.
What does a child require more urgently? Discipline, direction, or belonging? And I'm so sorry to hit you with this is a two-part, but you, Bruce Jones, you sharp. How may a community provide such necessities effectively? So I'll repeat, what does a child require more urgently? Discipline, direction, or belonging? And how may a community provide such necessities effectively?
Well, a kid or a young person actually need all of that. And if they can get it all at the same time, it would be great. But we know that doesn't happen like that many times, but they need all of that. But I will say what they need to me instantly is I need to have a relationship with you. I need to know that you care about me, that you love me. I need to know that you want the best for me, because a lot of times we want to do the discipline without the love, without the connection, without the that sense of belonging. And I don't care if you're a parent or not. If everything about you and your child is about punishment, it's about argument, it's about fussing, it's about what you ain't or who you like, and if it's all of that, yet I'm buying your shoes, I'm buying your clothes, and that's your love. But you're not doing it through time. You're not doing it through words of affirmation, encouragement. If you're not nurturing them in some positive way, hugging them, or, tell them you love them, that is so important, man. And we miss that because we think we're the best parent when we're providing material. That is cool. I love it. But what are you providing from a structure and nurturing, a love, a secureness that person know what love looks like, what it is, through time, through engagement, through words of affirmation, encouragement. That's fertilizer to a plant. That's water to our crops. But we don't give it to our own kids, but we expect them to grow.
But I don't have any rebuttal for you. I have to ask, if I'm a parent and then and I had lack thereof growing up.
Okay.
And I want to provide my kids, like what you just said, everything that I didn't have, because that's what I'm hearing. And so I want to provide the kids everything I didn't have, except the mom and dad said it's not what's on your feet, it's what's up here. Mom and dad, you know what I'm saying, cared, loved us, even though we didn't have the best clothes, we didn't have no designer, nothing. But parents nowadays do think that material gifts are a form of love.
Yeah.
That's what you kind of just said. So, and I think that's a big thing right now, opposed to the caring, the pouring into, the discipline, the manners. My wife said on the podcast the other week, the kids don't even have manners anymore. Like yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, things of this nature. So what do you think about the way that they, like you just said, some parents are buying a lot of the materials, but aren't pouring into the kid as far as the real, the intangibles.
Yeah.
The intangibles that a kid need to have. Every kid should have these things.
Yeah. If you want your child to grow up to be respected and respectful and to be well-rounded, you have to provide those things that I just said. It's the way God created us, okay? But what we do many times, Major, we outsource our kids through all this material stuff you're talking about. We get them the shoes and the Xbox, and we get them all the nice clothes and all that. And we let them go and hang out here and hang out there. That's outsourcing. That's the letting other people do what you have to be doing or should be doing yourself. And that's that quality time, and that's that nurture, and that's all those important things that I mentioned. We've got to stop outsourcing our kids, because the people that we're outsourcing them to, the material things that we are outsourcing them to, it's not doing anything for their real growth and development. It's not helping them to be the men and women that we need them to be to sustain us as a society. And we're seeing it day in and day out. You can't substitute time. You can't substitute nurturing and words of affirmation. You can't substitute engagement. You can't do that. You can't substitute that.
Man, that's very powerful. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I'm sitting here as a parent, like, what can I do better?
Well, we all can do better.
Yeah.
Trust me. I wish I was an expert growing up raising my kids. I wasn't an expert, even though I'm working with kids and I'm doing whatever. I still wasn't an expert. I still made mistakes, but I learned along the way. And thank God I have two young men that are good young men doing a lot of the right things. So I did enough right, but I made my mistakes. We all gonna make mistakes. But when you hear something and it sounds like it's some truth to it and it makes sense and it can help you and your children and your relationships and whatever, be open to learn from it. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I read books. I listened to Audible books. I wanted to be the best I could be, because guess what? I didn't have parents growing up. My father was dead. My father was dead when I was 8. My mother was dead when I was 14. A lot of this I had to learn as I grew up. Thank goodness I went into a field, social work, that, it taught that. It taught you how to do a lot of that. And that helped me out a lot. But I didn't have it growing up.
Bruce, you got a very powerful testimony. You are just sitting here with Bruce in real time, is you can feel his energy and his passion for what he's saying and what he's talking about. And I really appreciate you for bringing yourself and all your value that comes with you to the podcast, man, to share with the audience. How can a boy or a girl, you just referenced your dad died early. How can a boy or girl with no father, no resources, and no encouragement still construct a future worthy of honor? I asked my brother this off camera. I said, I'm gonna ask Bruce Jones this, Drew. And he said they can't. He said they don't got. He said you need all that. So again, I gotta ask this. I gotta ask you this question. How can a boy or girl with no father, no resources, and no encouragement still construct a future worthy of honor?
Well, I mean, call it a cliche or call it real life. Real life is that it helps to have a relationship with Christ. I didn't have one early on in my life, but I knew of him because my family and people I was around, they talked about him, God. They had some level of it where I saw, and then every now and then I had a chance to go to church. But that's first and foremost. So I learned a little bit about him early. But those tangible things, because that you need along with that goes a long way, is there has to be some resiliency. You gotta learn how to build that in, and kids, we gotta learn how to build that, and a lot of kids have done that. But the other things is there was people along the way that always gave me hope, or I would look at them and I would say, hey, I want to be like that one day. Or someone who saw me run fast and say, you need to be playing football. So they went to my mom's house and they asked her, could I play football? Now, you had a registration fee. My mom didn't have money for a registration fee because at one point she had cancer, so she couldn't work. So during that time, I know she couldn't work. So I know she didn't have that money. But somehow when the men came out of my house, I was playing football. So somebody paid for my registration fees. Okay. So there's a coach. My second grade, back then they had special class. They didn't have all this other stuff they got going now, special ed and whatever. They put you in a special class if you were behind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was behind, and
Mm.
by second grade, couldn't read, wasn't doing all that. Nobody in my house taught me how to do that. So I went to school not knowing ABCs, 1, 2, all that stuff. So by second grade, they were ready to put me in special class, but there was a special teacher by the name of Miss Coffee, a redhead lady, redhead white lady. I love her to this day. Now she's dead, but and she got me out of that class and made me her aide. And as her aide, she worked with me to help me learn how to read and
Mm-hmm.
learn how to count and do all those things. I felt special because I was her aide. I sat up close to her desk. Now, a lot of times you sit up there because you're in trouble. Now, I probably got in a little trouble too, but she helped me along the way. So I remember Miss Coffee for getting me out of that situation. So there's family members. My uncle Johnny, little Johnny, was married to my aunt, and he was my uncle. And he was definitely my mentor. He was definitely that person who spent time with me, going back to time,
Mm-hmm.
taught me how to ride a motorcycle, taught me how to put a carburetor on a 6-cylinder Nova V6, taught me how to use tools. I watched him. He let me come around him, and I learned from him. Now, he was not perfect, but he was a good man, and he showed me. But I get a sense of belonging. So I would hang around my aunt. She showed me she cared. So there was people in my family, when I did go to church, people in church. I felt a sense of community a lot from that. We're missing that big time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because now if you say something to your kid, parent ready to beat you up instead of, saying, hey, thank you for looking out for my
Yes,
child.
sir.
I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of that helped me along the way. And that's why I give back. So many people helped me and gave me and was there for me. Sometimes they would give me a couple of dollars because I ain't have no money.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would let me wash their car because I wanted to make some money. So it was a lot of that helped shape me and helped me to be. But now you as a young person, though, you have to be willing to accept it and take it. A lot of kids today, either we're not consistent enough as adults, okay, to stay involved and stay connected where that kid can have a sense of belonging, or that kids sometimes just don't believe it, or what the world is asking from them is just a little bit too gratifying for them, that they want that instead of the other piece. I'm just so thankful that I was patient enough to accept all the help and all the positivity that came along the way.
Bruce, I'm so sorry, but I have to ask one question that has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about when the football coach came to your house. Was your mom cool with you playing football? Because I'm asking because back then, a lot of parents didn't let y'all play. Even though you, Bruce Jones, I mean, they seen you, and your parents knew who you were too, but they wasn't trying to push you towards sports or anything like that. Was she fine with you playing?
Yeah. I think because my mom was so sick and dying of cancer, I don't know if that was her biggest concern about me actually playing.
Yeah.
Her biggest concern was probably the money and paying their registration fee and just if he's gonna be okay. Yeah, because she couldn't do a whole lot at that time. So, but I wasn't in there, but I just know probably how she was thinking and probably somewhat honored that somebody saw something in her child.
And that's a beautiful story. I just had to ask that about her. Now you've counseled many young ladies and boys ensnared by drugs and violence. In your observation, what draws a child towards these paths, and what methods have genuinely worked to guide them towards healthier decisions?
Okay. Wow, that probably goes back to the absence of time, the absence of whoever spends the most time with a child has most influence. So if mom and dad or single mom or whomever, or if we got parents got other things going on in their life, whether it's a boyfriend or whether it's drug or alcohol or whatever, that means they're not spending time with that kid. So that means that kid is going to find other people to belong and it's going to accept them. And many times when you do that and they're in the streets, what's in the streets is going to be, the gangs, the drugs, and all the other stuff, the alcohol and the theft, the burglaries, and now we got guns because we made a law that said at 18 you're old enough, mature enough to have a gun. Huh?
And you don't need anything. You can just literally just have the gun.
And so most 18-year-olds who can legally get it, most of their friends are 16 and 17-year-olds because they just finished school. So now who do you think they're going to be making sure also have a gun? Those 16 and 17-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't make laws. I'm not a politician, would never want to be one. But sometimes some of the laws that they make that they might say for one purpose, well, we got people in the military and they're serving the military, but so when they come home at 18, now we got this, they can't own guns. Well, give them a card and say they're in the military so they have a right to carry a gun, because when you make it where 18-year-olds, anyway, that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to go there. But that's the other thing.
That's a huge issue though.
That's another thing that they can get their hands to and major. There, as you said earlier, when you said that we were just talking off script, off camera, when you said that, well, I didn't want to get married until I was old enough. That frontal cortex is mature, and we said, well, that's about 25 or 27. So if we're not even mature adults yet, but yet at 18 we're giving a gun. So they got these guns. They're emotionally not stable enough to have them. The gun becomes the equalizer, meaning that if we get into a fight and an argument, that gun now is my equalizer. I will use it to handle some of my conversation or my anger or my whatever. And before you know it, something done happened. The gun is out. They done shot somebody in the snap of a moment because their brain is not developed yet. And sometimes even older folks can't handle that.
Yeah.
So now you got incarceration, you got a felony if you're not in there for the rest of your life. So now your life has been affected big time because we're out there in the streets and we got these access to these guns and all this other stuff. So parents, you gotta make sure that the time that whoever they're spending the majority of their time with is going to be somebody that's positive, because if not, that's who have most influence over them.
Okay, you brought up a couple issues. If I'm a young guy right now, let's say I'm 25 and under right now, and I'm watching this right now, and I made it this far. How can I have emotional intelligence? and before you say the frontal lobe, I don't got any maturity. I'm so sorry to ask you this, but Bruce, off, you know what I'm saying, just off script, but I got to, because I don't have any emotional intelligence. And you did say the guns are on the street. That's a big thing right now. A lot of kids are just, right here, even locally. So nationally, the numbers are, you know what I'm saying, they crazy. And so I can't think, and you just said I got the equalizer on me, so I don't gotta think, I don't gotta hear your lip either.
Exactly.
But maybe I do want to. I don't want to go down the same road that all my friends going down, and I'm listening now. What could I do to be emotionally intelligent when they say "F you"? What you want to do or what you looking at? Because they don't. Yeah. They're not fighting like we used to. They don't even got heart.
Right.
No, they're not finna fight.
Right.
When they say something to you, they finna shoot you.
Yeah. Well, when we work with them, and this is why there's Decatur Youth Services. This is why they're Boys and Girls Club. This is why, there's programs in the school system. There's programs that are there to help teach some of those skills. Okay. We call them life skills. Okay. Where you're taught how to control your anger. You're taught how to solve conflict resolution. You're taught how to manage your emotions. Okay. You learn about that. So there's programs and things in the schools that can help kids with that. But, I wish we could, have some things like that offered through the church, offer through other community programming where, and I know you can say you can offer, but people might not want to come, but let's figure out a way to encourage them to come. Let's figure out a way.
Promote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's kids, young people, and I know SOS also have some programs through the court system where parents and kids have to go there and they can learn some of those skills. So, why we're not spending a lot of times providing those things, not just for folks who attend your church, but other people in the community, reaching out to some of these organizations through the court system and through the parole, partner and parole system, all that, who say, hey, listen, we got these programs that can teach EQ, emotional intelligence, that can teach anger management, that can teach, these different life skills to help people learn that, because honestly, that's vital. That if we don't learn how to have self-awareness and self-management and that social awareness about things that's going on around us, that we need to be able to have, the awareness of what we need to, we're going to continue to struggle, and we're going to continue to fail with a lot of our young people.
I haven't, and we really appreciate you here locally. We appreciate you and all the programs that you started. But I haven't seen kids with the emotional intelligence at the young age to say no, or I'm gonna, or I'm gonna step away, and it just seemed like it's. I remember being younger, and man, I didn't want to hear. So I don't want to hear jokes about this and that and the third, and and to speak on the church, the Bible is good. The Bible is good, but outreach ministry or outreach programs would be great. Opposed to like the SOS program, you talking about me and my mom, we got to go all up to the county. It's kind of embarrassing. We going through got to walk through, got to turn all my stuff in just to get it back, go on the elevators and try to find whatever room we talking in or whatever we doing in. That's not the most ideal situation for that type of program.
Right.
And I think you touched on something very powerful as far as the community that doing it ourselves and trying to basically police ourselves. You're talking about preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing that we really in our community do. We do the aftermath. The aftermath, he did 10 years. And so let's try to help him out and get, and you know what I'm saying? Put him in re-entry, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Victoria Kane. And we're going to do the re-entry thing and things of this nature. And that's great. That's great.
Yeah, we're glad to have that.
But what about the 14-year-old who can't think right now and he ain't shot dude yet? Right. He ain't took the life yet. But we know, I don't mean no harm, he's gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, if they're out in that street and they got them weapons, it's just a matter of time. And because we've had a rash of shootings with young people. So I just think that somehow, I love church and I love what it offers.
Yeah.
But can we also make it relevant for what's going on in our world and our society today? Can we connect with the issues that are facing our young people today, where they'll want to come and be a part of your church? Now, once you connect with them on those levels and you're helping them emotionally, now you might can get some Jesus into them too. Okay, because we're trying to get Jesus into them on the front end. Sometimes they ain't buying that because they're seeing so much hypocrisy. Okay. I ain't trying to put nobody down, but they see a lot of stuff. So that turns them off.
Thank you
I
for
work
talking,
with young
Bruce.
people and I just know this. So don't want to offend anybody, but when you work with them, you see and you know, because they tell you what they're thinking and how they're feeling. So if we could somehow make some of these, our church, whether it's creating youth groups or just sometimes just catering the ministry and the sermon a lot to not talking down to them and putting them in hell because of their sin or not being saved, but just talk to them about what they're facing, what they're dealing with, and then help create some of these programs for the anger management, for the life skills, for the drugs, alcohol classes to teach you what it does to your brain, what it does to your body, to talk about the addiction phase so they can know what they might be getting themselves into and why the body's changing and why all of a sudden they were smoking or drinking and they decide they need to try to stop because somebody told them to. But when they try to stop, their body start to act funny. They don't know why their body's acting funny. Okay. So those are the things we need to be teaching.
For some reason, the church does ignore real life issues and real life up to date things that are happening as far as, like you say, alcoholism, drugs, things of this nature is completely, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we're going to move past that. That's crazy. I really do appreciate you for bringing that up because that is a major factor in our community, and it's a dwindling factor now.
Yeah, we're not seeing them in our churches much.
No. All the churches are all 40-year-old women. Yeah. Okay. I gotta ask. I have two closing questions, and my first closing question for you is: what did your mentors, even though I know you went over that a little bit already, but what did your mentors provide for you that you now strive to provide to younger generations? And what, in your judgment, defines a true mentor?
Well, I can say that real quick, and that what they provided and what we have to provide if we're going to be a mentor is consistency. If you're going to be in their life, you got to be consistent because that's what helps them be molded into whatever they're going to be molded to. I struggled here just recently when I went back into the school system. I worked as a community outreach coordinator after I retired from DYS. Then I went back to DYS for a while to help with some programs there and getting some things back in order there. And I built relationship with some kids. I was consistent on a weekly basis. They were seeing me, they were hearing me. I was rewarding them and they were benefiting. They were making the necessary changes. And then I had to leave the schools to go to DYS. And then once I got finished at DYS, I left there because I was done. And I left some kids that I had built those relationships with. So that's that consistency that they were seeing. I had to explain to them the changes that was going on, what I had to do. And yeah, it sounded good and it was legitimate. I didn't abandon them because I wanted to, but I did. I left them. And that bothered me, man, because I knew what I was doing and I knew how it could affect the kids. Now, a few of those kids, I told them, I'm going to see you all the way to high school. And that's my thing. With the little program that I do, I'm going to make sure they get through middle school. And then once they get in high school, I done taught you everything you need to know to be able to handle high school. So you got to do it now. You call me if you need me. So there's a few that's in middle school that I'm still going to mentor and keep an eye on. But it's that consistency. Once you show them and know that they care, that you care about them, now just be consistent.
And Bruce, it's okay. Did you had to? I mean, I know you. Because I can see it, and I can see why we talking.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like I mean, I praise God for the passion that I have for the things that I have, but just to see that flame still, you know what I'm saying? Like the passion you got for that and for those kids, I got to tell you, it's okay. They're gonna be okay, Bruce. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the second part of that question that I really am interested in is, what defines a true mentor in your opinion?
Wow. Well, once again, going back to an earlier statement, kids or people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So a good mentor has to truly care, has to be genuine in the caring. They have to be consistent. They have to know before they commit, can I be consistent enough? Whatever the commitment is, once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever it is that you and that kid or that family agree on, you have to stick with that because that kid, once they hear that, that's what they expect. If I mess around if I send mentoring a kid at school, and I said, hey, I'll see you next week. I show up 2 weeks later. Guess what they say? What happened to you last week? What you said you was coming last week. I don't care how great my excuse is. And usually now I got a good reason because I'm going to show up because I know that's important. But it's still for them, you didn't show up. You didn't do what you said you was going to do.
The new phrase is Bruce was playing in my face.
Okay.
That's what they're going to say that you was playing in their face.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Major, you have to show up. You have to show up, genuinely care. And I mean, outside of that, you don't have to be perfect. I mean, because none of us are, but you have to be, and because a lot of people think that you got to be this or got to do that and no, just be somebody who really genuinely cares and can be consistent and can show up. Kids, they going to like you. They going to appreciate you. And then every now and then, create a little reward system for them. You know, growing up, I grew up in poverty, so I didn't have a lot of things. So when somebody gave me something, man, that meant the world to me. Mm-hmm. If somebody gave me a couple dollars from time to time, that meant the world to me because I can go buy me something. Whatever it is, build a reward system with that kid. Mine was, I'm teaching you about life. So you have a job, young man or young lady, because I mentor both. Your job is to come to school, get your grades, respect the teachers, respect your friends, don't fight and don't do all those things. And then if your grades are good and your behavior good and you've done all those things, when I come see you, I'm going to bring your reward. I'm gonna show you how life works. I'm gonna pay you for doing what you're supposed to do. Now I know people say, well, you don't supposed to be paying kids, whatever. Okay, we're talking about we give our kids chores, and if they do their chores, they get a little reward. Okay, a lot of these kids don't have that. Okay, so for me, I'm teaching I'm teaching about life. So Major, when I went and they had a bad week, they got into some kind of trouble with the behavior and the grades were slipped. They didn't get no reward. I said, you don't get paid this week. I said, if I decide I'm not going to go to DYS, or I'm not going to go wherever, you think they're going to pay me?
No.
I said, if your mom, if she don't go work at such and such, or your dad, he don't work such and such, you think they're going to pay them? No. So why should I pay you if you're not doing? So I kept reinforcing that. So bottom line, so how did you work today? Did you do your job? Did you whatever? Yeah, my grades are good. I ain't getting in no trouble. Okay, I'm gonna give you a gift certificate. That didn't break me. Mm-mm. But for them, it gave them something to look forward to. But it also helped to build some character in them about work and work ethic and what it's like to earn something. See, it's all about what you can do to help build something in a child. Yeah. And that was my whole goal. And so that's a part of that mentoring that I provided.
Yeah, okay. I had to ask that because, I'm not able to, I don't have the passion that you have for it. But let's say that a person, I care. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I care about 10 different things as well.
Right.
And I care about the kids, but I got to be consistent over here. Mm-hmm. So maybe one day I can care more for the kids. Mm-hmm. And so I was just I really want to know what is a real mentor. Mm-hmm. And so you do, I would agree 100%. It need to be a consistent person, and it need to be someone who does care and who's active and, but you got so much experience with it, so it makes it a lot easier for you. Yeah. Like, you didn't just start out being this level of mentor that you are today. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot along the way, but keep in mind, I made the statement that whatever you commit to that child and to that family, if you commit to once every 2 weeks, they're expecting it once every 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, if you can only do a month, well, I mean, in their mind, they can't wait till that month. Now, I hope it can be more consistent than a month, but I'm just saying it's whatever expectation you set with that kid, that's what they're looking for. And that's what they're going to expect. And when you fail in that, you're letting them down. And guess what? You're helping repeat a cycle that they're so accustomed to because many times they've been let down. That's why they don't trust. That's why they don't believe in adults a lot, because they've been let down so much, and they've seen so much that has traumatized them. And see, we didn't even talk about trauma. The majority of these kids have been through all type of trauma, so that they don't trust, they don't believe, they respond out of their trauma many times through anger, intermittent anger, where they just go off at the drop of a hat. Come on, man. When a kid is going through that, there's something that happened. Let's figure out what done happened to him.
Yeah, that was a lot right there, especially when you mentioned the trauma. And no, we didn't get to mention that. I didn't, I
okay.
tried to sum everything up, as best I could, because
did
it's
awesome.
so much.
Yeah, it is. Trust me, you gave me 8 questions, man. I had to labor over them questions.
It was a lot, and let me get to my closing question, which is a very important question, very powerful question. If you could place a single message within the heart of every person in the nation, what would that message be?
Man, a single message. Single message.
I know.
I'm trying to think of, because I responded to some of your questions. That was one. I can't remember exactly what I said, which it might be a good thing, because I might need to say something. Well, let me say this, and then I'm gonna get to another answer, because I really wanted to say this, and this is something that goes with all of us. Walk with the wise, and you be wise, but a companion of fools suffers. Okay. Walk with the wise, and you be wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Okay. That's Proverbs. The message would be, who you are walking with is you. Who you are walking with will many times determine who you are. Mm-hmm. If you're the leader and you're leading good and well, that's the wise. But if you're not the leader, if you're the leader and you're leading bad, you're leading, that's you. Unfortunately, it causes harm. Mm-hmm. Many of our kids, many of the people that they're associating with are walking unwisely. And that's why we're suffering harm. That's why you're seeing so much that's happening to our young people today, because nobody is taking the time to make sure they're walking with the wise. They're walking with the right people that are doing the right things, that are in the right places, that actually want to. Now, trust me, there's many of our kids that are good. So I'm not, we ain't painting no picture that all our kids are bad. That's not what we're saying. There's some great kids out there. I get to see them every day.
And we are here to save the saved.
That's right. But there's plenty of them that are walking with companions of fools, and they're suffering. You gotta know who you're walking with. To take it a step further and make it relevant to our kids and what they're seeing, know who you getting in the car with. Know what they got in that car, and know what they're planning on doing. Because if you go with them and they've got their mind made up of a harm that they're wanting to do, that's you. That's you too. Now, if that's who you know what they're doing and you want to be a part of that, then you are amongst a companion of fools.
And if the blind lead the blind, then we both fall in a ditch.
And that's what we're saying a lot. So as adults and as parents, it's our job, Major, to help direct them. It's our job to lead them. Now, I'll end on this, and then I'll let you ask anything else you want. The Bible's often, well, it talks about train up a child. Now, see, this is like a cliche. People don't even get this anymore. Train up a child in the way he or she should go. When they're older, they won't depart. It says train. Stop thinking that training is just some word that don't have significant meaning. Train. How do you train something or train somebody? When I played football, I went into training. I lifted weights. I ran. I had to learn the plays. I practiced. I was training. Whenever I was growing up and my grandmother or my mom said, boy, you touch that one more time, I'm going to spank your butt. That's training. Watch how, don't touch. That's training. I want you to go and you come right back at the time that I said you go back. That's training. Okay. I said a bad word. My mom picked up her house shoe and threw it at me. That was training. Now somebody's, house shoe, it was a little house shoe. It didn't have no heel on it. Bottom line, she was training me. My grandfather, I go downtown and he worked in the field with a lot of his, peers, and they worked in the field back in that day, working for the farmer. And they're eating lunch, and I go down there and I said something, and somebody said something to me, and I say, yeah. Whoa, my grandfather grabbed me by the arm, his hands 2 sizes mine, and whacked me on my behind. He trained me. Guess what, Major? I say yes, sir, no, yes, sir, to this day. Okay. He trained me. That stuck with me. Yeah. We have to train our kids. We're not training them anymore. We're outsourcing. And when you outsource, that means whoever you're outsourcing it to, they ain't doing the training. You're going to take a chance on your precious commodity, your child, being trained by anybody? Being outsourced by anybody? No, that's too important. I have to do that, or I'm going to put somebody in their life that can help me that I know I can trust because they're going to do a good job too. We don't train no more.
How do us as parents stand on training? Because we don't stand on nothing no more. Like Sally did this at school, and I said I was going to take her cell phone, but I ain't going to stand on it. Or even younger, the little bitty infant baby, like you said, we from training from day one, he did this, and I said, no, don't do that. And I gave him a little tap. I ain't talking about no beating or nothing like that. Yeah. I'm just talking about
that's training.
So he know. But then he keep doing it, and then we eventually laugh at him or something like that. Yeah. That's training.
That's training. That's training.
So lack of training
is training.
It's still training.
It's training. You're training them to either be and do some things that's going to be positive, that's going to make you proud, or you're training them by not doing what you're supposed to do, and you're allowing them to be outsourced. You're allowing them to do what they want, and then they're going to, because the Bible also tell you what's going to happen to them then.
It definitely does. The Bible definitely tells you about what's going to happen at that point. But I want to, just one more scenario and we'll be out of here because you went into it a little bit.
You're good.
So the older kids, 16, 17, 18, they're wilding out. The parent, we already established the parent got to go to work.
Yeah.
The kids skipping school sometimes, bringing salad soup over. It might even be busting salad soup down in your house. Disrespect happens. You know what I'm saying? You Bruce Jones, so you really know these situations. So, okay, do I condone the child? Do I let the child stay in the house? Do I kick the child? I mean, what do I mean? This is a regular, normal thing. Yeah. The blatant disrespect, time over time after time, because I'm 17, 18, and I don't know no better.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 17 before Bruce, and I didn't know no better. I was 18, and I got even worse. By 19, I got on out the house, went to live with my big brother.
Because you want to do your own.
Well, my parents stood on something too.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't just come in the house at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't be there smelling like black and mild smoke.
Yeah. Well, I know your mom and your dad, so I know you're telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth now. They stood on something.
Yeah.
And I feel like they was in the right in hindsight. But it's 2026. So what do do we stand? Do we don't parent the same way?
No.
I was parented in the late 80s, early 90s. So we just
Yeah.
don't parent the same way. So
Yeah. Well, with all the modern technology, social media, all the other phones and all this
if you
stuff, we
beat your
got
child, you
well,
going under the jail.
well, you know, and people say that, but there's a difference between beating and discipline.
You know what I meant.
Yeah,
I meant discipline.
I do.
I meant discipline.
Well, listen, I'm the youth service director for the city of Decatur.
I know.
My 26-year-old got a whipping with a belt on his back, on his behind. I didn't spare that rod on him. Now, I loved him. I was there. I was present. I took care of him. I provided for him. I co-parent with his mom. So I had every right to make sure that I disciplined my child.
Of course.
And I did. And there was times that I was angry, but I made sure that when I whipped him, that I was beyond that anger where it would have been emotional whipping.
Yeah.
And more about, hey, dude, this is about discipline. And I talked to him. I explained to him, well, now you know why you're getting a whipping right now, because you know if I allow you to continue to do this, you're going to be doing this next, and you're going to be doing whatever and whatever, and we can't have that. Do you understand why you getting this whipping? Yeah, Dad, I do. Now that don't mean that he liked it, he made it dinner, but I had to train him. Major, the best thing I heard from that boy one day, and probably a couple years. He's 26 now, probably a couple years. He said, Dad, I didn't like you when I was coming up. I said, yeah, I know. I said, I know. He said, yeah, I thought you was real hard and whatever. I said, yeah, I know. He said, but Dad, I'm so glad that you did that now because you taught me how to be a hard worker. I'm taking care of my family. I'm got a good job. So, I mean, I understand now. I ain't like it then, but I understand it now. I wasn't trying to be my son's friend, Major. I wasn't trying to win the best parent of the ward for letting you do what you want to do. I wanted to make sure I was training him and showing him that I loved him through the necessary discipline. But Major, go back where I said when we first got started. I said, I spent time, I engaged, I connected,
consistent.
I made sure I was there. I earned the right to discipline him the way I discipline him. Yeah. Not beatings, but the discipline that he gave. Yeah. I earned the right.
Yeah, and I appreciate my dad to this day as well. Of course, he earned the right. He's my dad. And I really appreciate him as well, just like what you saying about your 26-year-old to this day. Sometime I was like, why dad acting like this? I'm 11.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. Yeah. And now I really appreciate him for it. I had to bring that up because you touched on it. And so we both come to the conclusion of discipline over friendship as far as the dynamic of parent-child. Okay.
Yeah, they'll love you later.
Yeah, they'll love you later.
Yeah. Right now, I just need you to respect me and let me make sure I help you be the best that you can be. And that means I have to do these things when you get out of line or when you disobey or when you make some choices and decisions that later on can cause you a lot of harm. I have to step in and I have to intervene at that time. That's what I'm supposed to do as a parent.
A lot of times kids look to the left and the right. My friend or this friend, or I heard them yelling at their parents like this, or their parents got this family, this friendly dynamic. Don't worry about that, guys. What do you think about that? The kids, they're going to look left and right. Just as a parent, we just can't worry about that?
Well, when they look left and right and compare what you're doing versus what somebody else is allowing their child to do, mine was pretty quick. This is my house. This is my home. This is how I'm going to parent in my home. What they're doing over there, that's their choice. And I hope it works for them. But I know for here, this is how I parent and this is how we're going to do it. Now, we'll see one day how theirs work out, but I know how mine's going to work out.
Yeah. Hey, everything we did here today was powerful, and I really appreciate you for joining the show, man. I couldn't ask for a better dialogue on these topics, which I feel like are very, very serious and very touchy.
Yeah, man.
And that's why I needed to, I had to hit you up.
Yeah.
And you was very nice to me, to hit me right back. I couldn't believe it. Like Bruce Jones hit me back. And man, I really appreciate you
Yeah.
for joining the show.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Listen, if anything's going to help our community, help our young people, I'm all in. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm committed to that until he takes me on. And I told him, the Bible said, long life I'll satisfy and show you thy mercy. I said, Lord, I ain't satisfied yet. So when I get in my 90s, we can talk.
Yeah. This definitely helped the community. I'm gonna shoot it to Miss Curtistine Bellamy White immediately as soon as I edit it. I'm gonna shoot it to her and tell her to share it.
Hey, listen, Miss White.
And shout out to Miss White.
Loves of Miss White.
Love Miss White. I mean, I got to get her in here too because she heavy in the community. Like, she hands on.
Yeah, she is
with the kids.
Yeah,
and like she bone bad. I got to get her in here.
Well respected.
I respect her. And thank you so much, Bruce. And that's major.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.